So you are currently learning Japanese, but you tend to struggle a lot. Don't worry because these next 5 tips will absolutely help you. The first step is immersion. All of your favorite hobbies will now have to be in Japanese in order to help you expose yourself to the language quite more. You may not understand a lot or not even a bit, but that is okay. Just continue doing your hobbies and just do whatever you like as long as it's in Japanese. I will say that there is a few podcasts in YouTube that are in Japanese and they are actually very beginner friendly and intermediate. As examples, you can see, I can scroll down here. I can look at Yu's Japanese podcast if you're interested, but there's there's a variety. I've seen some and personally I like them a lot. So if you're interested in, you can go ahead and check them out. A few of these I would recommend them because they are very beginner friendly, at least in my opinion. So that is it for the immersion. Hey guys, I also forgot to mention that if you're trying to immerse yourself in Japanese and you're an intermediate, then keep in mind that J-dramas and anime are absolutely optional and there shouldn't be a reason for you to not be able to watch them whatsoever. This next one is one of my favorites. Using the website G-Show, or should I say the Japanese dictionary, we can actually use this to our advantage to look up certain Japanese words that we may have heard of, but we just don't know the meaning of. So example, I chose this one in case I didn't know it. As you can see, it lets me know that it is a verb as well as some other useful information, and I have a few sample sentences to show me how I'd probably use this word. And here are the inflections. We have non-past and past, polite and non-polite. I honestly like it because it's very useful whenever I'm trying to learn a new verb or whatever it is. Now I know where to go. I would also like to mention that this site is absolutely useful for searching up kanji when you do not know the reading of it at all. So the way it works is you click on radicals right here. It shows you all the radicals that exist in kanji. So I guess maybe if I was trying to look for a certain kanji that had this specific radical, I click it and it shows me a long list. So maybe this is my kanji right here. I click on it and then I just search it up like that. And so it shows me the reading and everything. And I'll just know all of the information from then on out. That's why I like it. It's pretty cool. Next up is reading and writing. If you want to practice your Japanese reading skills, don't worry, I have just the thing for you. Using taroku.org, we can actually use this to look at some Japanese children's books. Doesn't matter whatever you see, whatever you find interest in, just read it, and doing so will actually help you improve much more, as you can see. And don't worry about the kanji, there is furigana to cover that up, so you have no excuse for not being able to do this whatsoever. As for writing in Japanese, what you will need is a notebook and something to write with. What you are then going to do is you're going to make up a few simple Japanese sentences. You're going to do this process until you get fully used to it and you fully expose yourself to everything. Now, you can also use this as well to practice writing and reading kanji. So whenever you see kanji in a verb, you'll always be familiar with the kanji, how it looks like and how it's written, and what the reading is essentially. Now, another unique way of learning Japanese is through flashcards. If you know Anki, then you can use this to learn whatever Japanese words you like in general, or just use a few decks. As you can see, I have this one called Kaishi 1.5k deck. It's easy and it's very simple. I click on it. I don't like cards, I'll bury them. If I'm good enough with the information, then I'll just continue on. I'll also leave this in the description down below if you have Anki and you're interested in what this looks like. Here's how I use Anki. Every time I see a word that I am not familiar with and I do not know, what I'll simply do is I'll hit my spacebar in order to reveal the information. Now, once I've heard the information, everything about this card, if I simply do not want to learn this word at all, what I'll simply do is I'll hit my minus key on my keyboard. Therefore, this card will be buried. If it's buried, it will not show up for the rest of the day, but rather the next day. So it's up to me if I want to learn it from there or not. Now, as easy as it sounds, whatever you do not hit or press any of these buttons except the good, because you will mess up the card and its frequency and the amount of days or time it tends to show up. Now, there are a few steps when it comes to using Anki. The first being is knowing how to make up your own study time, if you want to do that, of course. So you go down here to custom studying, click it. Now, I truly apologize, none of this stuff will show up on my screen because it just doesn't want to. But once you click that button, you will see a few things that tells you to increase your card's limit. You can choose the number to however you want it. Now, if you are not happy nor satisfied with this, what you can essentially do is go back to your decks, go on the deck that you're currently studying cards from, and then if you see this little gear button, click on it, and then click on your options. Once again, my stuff doesn't want to show up, but I'll explain. The first two things that you should see is new cards a day and maximum reviews a day. The numbers on your maximum reviews should be 9,999. I know it sounds like a ridiculous number, but don't worry about that. That's just how Anki functions. For your new cards a day, what you will eventually want to put it to is 20. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you are learning 20 whole different words in one day, but rather actually just 10. That's just how Anki is. Anki just likes to count its front and back sides of their cards, so therefore that's why it tends to become a more bigger number than usual. Now, getting all of that stuff out of the way, once you know your cards so well, go on your deck and click Browse. Now, once you go on Browse, you will see all the cards that you are currently studying, or just other ones that you've not touched at all. If there are a few cards that you know so well and they're useless to you, what you can do is click on them, hold down Shift, and press 2. This will suspend the card from your deck and you'll never see it again. Lastly, we have talking to the natives. Whether you're booking a class on italki or you're trying to play an online game to try and connect with Japanese people, as interesting as it may seem, talking to the natives is a great way to make new friends and practice more. Another benefit with that is you will have the ability to learn new words as it goes. Now, when you're talking with your Japanese friends, you'll obviously have the instinct to talk to them in Japanese no matter what. If you don't know some certain words, it's okay. You can always ask for help as long as they speak English to communicate well with you. Another good benefit about this is you'll become more confident in speaking, so you just get used to it. That includes talking naturally and just sounding like a native yourself. You will have the ability to understand others slowly over time once you hear more words being spoken, especially since everyone has their own unique way of speaking. You'll get used to that as well. And the best part about this is have fun. Doesn't matter. There are no limits. There are not many boundaries. You can have fun. Just continue doing this no matter what. Obviously, like I said before, the cheap options is just play an online game and connect with them. You don't necessarily need italki if you don't want to, but that is for more other purposes if you're trying to learn more seriously. And that does it for my simple tips of how you can easily learn Japanese over time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. これからもよろしくお願いします。